Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Edward Moody. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming right now to bring you this special report. As we speak, Vice President Mike Pence is in Duluth addressing a crowd right now at industrial welders and machinists. Let's go live to hear
just like this one all across America. Before I get started, I just hung up the phone from him, and he wanted me to be sure and say hello. I bring greetings from a man that people all across Minnesota voted for, people across America voted to make the 45th President of the United States of America. I bring greetings, Minnesota, from President Donald Trump. And he is, I know he's delighted that we're here, delighted that you all made time to come out. And it's just great to be in Duluth. I checked here. This is a great lineup. The home of the National High School Hockey Champions, Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. Also home of the Olympic gold winning team from the Duluth Curling Club. And, Pete, I'm told we're just a stone's throw away from the three-time state hockey champions, the Hermantown Hawks. That's what we call a hat trick, right? That's what you call a hat trick in hockey, isn't it? It's three big wins, and a great community and a great tradition. I'm also delighted not only to be joined by our host today and all of this great team standing behind me and before me, but also it's great to be with somebody who knows about winning on the ice. He also knows about what it is to serve a community with courage in law enforcement and serve the community with distinction, past, present, and future. Join me in thanking Pete Stauber, who's with us today for his deep devotion to Duluth and to Minnesota. This is a great guy with a great future. And again, I want to thank you all for being here today and joining us at IWM. 65 years this company's been providing welding and machining to companies across northeast Minnesota, serving the Northland since 1952. 3 generations of the Abernathys, many of whom are here with us today, have built this company into what it is today. You know, I grew up in a small business family in a small town in southern Indiana, and I know there really is something special about a family business that works and provides opportunities for families and supports communities. Join me in thanking the whole IWM team and the Abernathy family, would you please? And I know there's not only employees here, but I think we've got a half a dozen mine managers here and a lot of people that benefit and know what this company has meant to this community and continues to mean. And the truth is, when you look at the success of this company, that since the early days of this administration has been taking advantage of regulatory reform, of the president's recommitment to developing American energy resources and mining, bringing tax relief and tax reform, IWM is reinvesting in its employees and reinvesting in Duluth because of the policies that you've supported, Minnesota. It's true. And from early in this administration, President Trump worked to roll back federal red tape, to unleash American energy. And just before Christmas, President Trump signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history. Not only is that tax cut going to mean about $3,000 in savings for the average Minnesota family of 4, but companies just like IWM have been able to reinvest in their people and in their plants in ways that are creating jobs and growing opportunities. In fact, I'm told that following the president's tax cuts, IWM has been reinvesting in their people, and this is a company that actually gave its welders an extra $4,000 a year for their pensions after those business tax cuts took effect. Thank you, Randy. That's what it's all about. I mean, the truth is, it was about 2 years ago that I got a phone call to join the president on this ticket and on this journey, and I said yes in a heartbeat. And the simple fact was that we had an economy in this country, the most powerful economy in the history of the world, that hadn't grown by an average of 2% for almost 16 years. And in President Donald Trump, we had someone who said, look, if we put into practice those common sense principles that have always resulted in a growing American economy and a safer and more prosperous America, that we can make America great again. And that's what we've been about. And the truth of the matter is that this company, and the reason I'm here today, this company and this state are emblematic of what we're seeing all across the country. The truth of the matter is, thanks to the leadership that you've supported, not only in the White House, but in the Congress of the United States, confidence is back, jobs are back. In a word, America is back, and we are just getting started, Duluth. True. Think about it. And since Election Day, businesses large and small have created 55,000 new jobs across the state of Minnesota. And President and I couldn't be more proud. You saw those GDP numbers, gross domestic product, growing by 4.1%. And the economy is really beginning to roar once again. But, you know, that lower unemployment rate and a new record, the lowest unemployment ever recorded for African Americans and Hispanic Americans. The American dream is working for every American again. But for all that we've accomplished and for all the progress that we've made, that's just what President Trump calls a good start. Because the truth is that working with leaders here in Minnesota, working with great leaders currently and in the future like Pete Stauber, we're going to continue to build the momentum in this economy and continue to deliver for the American people. And one of the ways this president's particularly proud of having worked is taking decisive action to protect steel and aluminum industries in this country. The truth of the matter is, and back in my days when I was in the Congress, back when I was governor of Indiana, we saw a steady trend of a hollowing out of our steel industry in this country and our capacity in steel. But President Trump, using the authority that he has under federal law, actually took action to protect steel and aluminum industries. And the truth of the matter is, American steel mills are coming back. They're hiring again. They're expanding again. And they are hungry for Minnesota iron. Right? They are. I mean, the truth of the matter is, mines across the Iron Range are now hiring again. They're ramping up their capacity again. And mining managers who are here know that better than me, but we see it all happening. You know, today more than 4,000 Minnesotans work in the region's mines. They support 11,000 jobs across the area. Since President Trump and I took office, we couldn't be more proud of the fact that mining and mining-related industries have added nearly 2,000 jobs just in the Duluth area alone. Mining is back in Minnesota and in America. True. And that's obviously great news for companies like IWM. Randy told me that 70% of their business comes from the taconite mines and the mines in the Iron Range alone, and they keep digging for rich new veins of ore. This great company is going to have new opportunities to expand and to create jobs and opportunities for people all across this region. And the truth of the matter is, it's only going to get better. Many of you know that when the last president was on his way out the door, he imposed a federal ban on mining on a huge section of northeast Minnesota. But this president is rolling back the ban, and we are clearing the way as we speak for new mines to bring not just Minnesota iron, but nickel and copper forward for the American economy. We're doing it. And as the president said when he was in Duluth a couple months ago, it's going to happen. So take it to the bank, everybody. And I just want to thank all of you for the tremendous support that you've given to this president, to our entire administration, to our partners in the Congress. In fact, I just want to take a minute to thank a great champion for Minnesota's economy and Minnesota's families, Congressman Tom Emmer. He's not here today, but I think he deserves a round of applause. He's been a great fighter for us, and we're grateful for him. But you know, the truth of the matter, you all know with this great tradition in mining, great tradition in this industry in Minnesota, and the great traditions in manufacturing and agriculture of this great state, The truth of the matter is that you understand the relationship between America's vast natural resources and American greatness. I mean, when President Trump talked about making America great again, he understood, as so many of us do, that the greatness of this country has always come from our faith, our freedom, and our vast natural resources. I truly believe it. It was Daniel Webster in the 19th century in the floor of the Congress who actually said words that I'll paraphrase. He essentially said, "Let us develop the resources of this land and call forth its power so that we might do something in our time worthy to be remembered." I mean, what this company stands for and has built a great tradition on, what this region stands for, this great tradition of mining, is understanding that this country is blessed with natural resources like very few other nations on earth. And developing our natural resources in a responsible way is a core of American greatness and American economic strength, and it always will be. So just get ready, Minnesota. The best is yet to come. But the truth of the matter is we rely not just on your support, but we rely on support in the Congress of the United States. That's why I couldn't be more proud to be standing next to Pete Stauber. And I sure do hope the people of Duluth and Minnesota will see their way clear to send this man of law enforcement, this local public servant, to Washington, D.C. in the United States Congress come this fall. Pete, we need you. We really do. So it's great to be with you today. I'm really looking forward to meeting as many of you as I can before they sweep us away. I'm headed off to Michigan tonight before I go back to Washington, D.C. But thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your support. I want to thank IWM for just doing what you do every day. Being a company that takes the opportunity to seize on changing times and changing policies to better the lives of your employees and continue to strengthen your community. So I'm just here to tell all of you, let's just keep doing what you're doing. And I promise you, President Trump and I will keep doing just what we're doing. We'll keep working every day to keep the promises that we made to the American people back in 2016. And I want to promise you that with your continued support, with your continued support of this administration and all of those that will support us in Washington, D.C., with your continued hard work in a great company like this, a great community like this, and with your prayers, I just know in my heart of hearts that we will make America prosperous again. We will make America safe again. And to borrow a phrase from a friend of mine, we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Minnesota. God bless you. Thank you, IWM. I look forward to seeing you all before I leave. Thanks.
And there you have it, folks. Vice President Mike Pence in his Duluth visit here at the Industrial and Machinists Company here in Duluth, speaking to a crowd of supporters. He made it very clear why he was here visiting, stumping for Pete Stauber, who's running for the congressional seat in our 8th district. He said, Pete Stauber, we need you, referring to the candidate there on stage. Mike Pence also spoke about the president's policies and how he believes those policies have helped our region, specifically the mining sector of our region, saying that the president's policies have led to the creation of thousands of jobs in the mining industry. We want to go live now to Briggs LeSavage, who was there for that entire speech. She is inside the building. Briggs, give us a little recap of what we heard from the vice president and the mood there in the room.
Yeah, Edward, the mood here is a very exciting mood. About a crowd of about probably 50 people gathering here to listen to Vice President Mike Pence speak at industrial welders and machinists here in West Duluth. As you mentioned, he touched on President Trump's tax reform policies and their impact on Minnesota families and businesses. And that's one of the reasons that he chose this business in the first place, actually. This has been a family-owned business in the West Duluth area since 1952. That's about 65 years of family-owned business. They specialize in welding, fabrication, and their owners told us earlier today that about 70% of their business comes from the mining industry, and that's something that Vice President Pence was touching on. And he says that the tariffs, Trump's tariffs, have been good for the steel industry, which have been good for the taconite mines, which in turn have trickled down here to IWM and have meant very good news for them. We also heard at the end him thank Pete Stauber for being here. Stauber is a GOP Republican candidate running for the 8th Congressional District seats here in Minnesota. Pence was with Stauber earlier today at a fundraiser, at a campaign fundraiser on Park Point, we learned earlier. So you might remember President Trump was here in town earlier in June this summer, touting, stumping rather, for Stauber as well. Stauber is challenged by Harry Welty coming up next week in the August primary. So right now we have the Vice President shaking hands to the crowd here before he heads to Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, later today. So we're going to have a much more complete breakdown of Vice President's speech, what it means for IWM, his visit here coming up on the CBS 3 Duluth News at 6. Back to you, Edward.
All right, thanks, Briggs. Certainly, folks, they're getting in those photo ops with the Vice President. As Briggs said, we'll have much more of this coming up a little later at 6 and 10 tonight. We return you now to our regularly scheduled broadcast. Be sure to tune in to CBS 3 News at 6 and 10 for the very latest on Vice President Pence's visit to Duluth. And be sure to follow us on social media and online at cbs3duluth.com. Have a good day.